I'm going to play this real fast. I don't think this is very long.
Welcome to AEP's Customer Solutions Center. This call may be recorded for quality assurance. In a few words, tell me why you are calling. Welcome to Appalachian Power's Customer Solutions Center. Please hold for the next available representative. Welcome to AEP's Customer Solutions Center. This call may be recorded for quality assurance. In a few words, welcome to Appalachian Power's Customer Solutions Center. Please hold for the next available representative.
Okay, so as you saw there, the phone on the left of the screen was the older phone that I had been using to contact AEP. And as you had seen, I dialed the same number on both phones. The phone on the right was a brand new phone with a brand new number. And when I called with a brand new phone, brand new number, it took me directly to customer service for AEP. When I called from the existing phone, the older phone that I had been using to contact AEP, they routed my call to Appalachian Power, which, if I remember correctly, is either in Virginia or West Virginia. I think it's Virginia, which is a subsidiary or a sister company, or it's a part of the parent company that owns AEP. So this is evidence here that not only are they ignoring the harm that they're causing, but they were manipulating the calls so that way they would be routed completely to a different state, to a different organization, to a different company that has nothing to do with the electric service here in Ohio. And so this is further evidence that AEP Ohio was manipulating their phone systems and purposefully routing my call from my older phone, from that particular number, routing it to a completely different company in an attempt to prevent me from contacting an employee with AEP Ohio to get the issue addressed and get it fixed. So this is just further manipulation. So they can't be honest. They can't just do the right thing. They've got to play games and ignore the facts, ignore the truth, ignore the reality that they have validated my complaints by their noise assessment and other things, and then turn around and make excuses for it and reroute my calls so that way, hey, if they don't get complaints about it, then there must not be anything wrong, right? That's the way they do it. It's really no different than the police department making excuses. This is a common theme that I'm finding that shouldn't be. These businesses are supposed to be ran by responsible people. Whether it's the police department or AEP Ohio, they have regulations and rules that they are supposed to follow. And when they don't, there's consequences for that. And so because just like the public servants of Zanesville, Ohio, in their malfeasance, because the courts are protecting them and they're also protecting the utility companies, because I attempted to go through the Public Utility Commission of Ohio, was unable to get any remedy there because they made excuses, and even though they had quote unquote experts come in and testify that gave contradictory information um, during that hearing at the PUCO. Uh, it doesn't matter. See, at every turn, I've exposed their failure. I've exposed their shortcoming. I've exposed their malfeasance. And all they do is double down and try to ignore it. Instead of just being a man or woman, being responsible, being an adult, and standing up and saying, okay, let's see what we can do to fix this situation. Let's see what we can do to fix this problem. No, they would rather keep their heads in the sand like a bunch of ostriches. Because it's easier, I guess, for them in the short term. But in the long term, it actually makes it harder. So, what I'm going to do real quick, I have got a document here. It's the last thing I'm going to show you guys from the Public Utility Commission of Ohio. This is regarding the complaint. There's the case number there. And you can see, thank you for contacting Public Utility Commission of Ohio, PUCO, and allowing me to address your concerns regarding Ohio Power Company. That's the parent company over AEP. It says AEP has provided their testing results from the EMF testing they did at your property 3/12/2020. I have attached the handwritten map with magnetic fields and sound measurements results they provided to me. I have attached the IEEE standards and common sound measurements documents they also provided to me in their response. AEP notified us they consider this matter closed as the results of their testing are within guidelines. Should you have any additional utility-related questions, please do not hesitate to respond to this email or visit our website. And that was from Amy Walker, PCO representative in the Service and Monitoring and Enforcement Department. So, this was the letter that she had sent regarding the complaint, and here is the results of the assessment. This is from AEP Ohio. This is the people that were walking around my property on the security cameras. This is the assessment that they were performing. You can see at different points where the numbers, there's 43, 54.7, 50.3, 45.7. All of these are decibel readings. And they only pretty much did it right there around the main structure. 42.5 up there in the top right corner. So, as you can see here, this is the main house, and they did all the readings around there. Now you can see, this is White Oak Avenue here. The power lines run on the easement of White Oak Avenue right here in front of the property, or on the east side of the property, the east face. So, on this east face where the power lines are, well, how about that? Look at how the decibel readings are higher. Right there in this section. High decibel readings, 54.7. And of course, they wrote in here, with vehicles passing by. That's ridiculous. Because when they do noise assessments, they have to hold the measurement for a period of time. And when a vehicle is passing by, it's very temporary, and the noise isn't a static sound. It is an oscillation, if you will, because as the vehicle gets closer, the noise gets louder, and as it travels away, it gets quieter. And so they don't, of course, mention at what point, whether the vehicle is right in front of them, or if it was sitting there parked. It says passing, so take that for what it's worth. From my perspective, that is just arbitrary information. It's semantics. So you can clearly see here that I have readings. Lowest reading is 42.5. Highest reading is 54.7. So those are decibel levels, dBA, which is the weighting, A weighting for the assessment. So those are the readings. So you see 42.5 is lowest, 54.7 is the highest reading in decibels. Here's the graph that American Electric Power sent the Public Utility Commission of Ohio, and then they sent me regarding the noise assessment. Now, as you see here, if you can read, let's see if I can focus that. If you can see right here, it says sleep disturbances may begin. And that's referring to that little blue section right there. And you can see it starts right about there. So it starts right in about, let's see, if that dot is 25 decibels. So that's right at about 23, 24 decibels, give or take. Maybe, I wouldn't say 22, I'd say probably about 23 decibels, roughly, is according to this graph. They're saying that that's where sleep disturbances begin, is somewhere in that range. From roughly, say, 23 decibels up to, we'll say, about 32 decibels, give or take. That's where sleep disturbances may begin. I have readings, what was the lowest reading? 42.5. So if sleep disturbances begin here, I have readings up here. The lowest reading is right at about there. Now I had a reading of, what was the highest? 54.7? Yeah, 54.7. So that would be up here. Now let's see what that says there. I can't remember. So there's sleep disturbances begin. Oh, I can't get it to focus. There. It states residential boundary noise limit. So they're claiming, according to their graph, that they're allowed to make noise that's disturbing, that, according to their own graph, causes sleep disturbances within the range that they are allowing. Now, first of all, I don't know where they got the information from that the residential limitations, or whatever that term was, the residential boundary for noise limits. Each municipality may set a particular decibel level for specific frequencies. If I remember correctly, I think the Zanesville Municipal Corporation actually has that as well in their the noise ordinance. And if I remember correctly, when I cross-referenced the noise ordinance, the particular frequencies that I'm picking up with these spectrum analyzers and that I'm hearing are in violation of the municipal codes as well, because the decibel level it far exceeds the allowable level, even according to the municipal code. So in multiple instances, they admit their failure. They admit that they're causing harm, whether it be the police department, whether it be the city of Zanesville, the municipal corporation, the courts, whomever person is acting on behalf of any of those organizations, or AEP Ohio. It is clear that these people are all about making excuses for their malfeasance, making it sound like I'm the problem. Well, I mean, I guess when you take into consideration, you take the perspective of they want to make money and they don't care who they hurt. When I take up an issue with that, I guess that becomes a problem. So in their eyes, it's not a problem for them to cause harm to people, to prevent them from enjoying their property, or possibly worse, definitely worse in instances of, say, the public servants of Zanesville. I mean, this is just unconscionable. They have a bigger problem with me complaining about the issues and the harm that they're causing than they do the fact that they're causing harm in the first place. I mean, what the hell is wrong with these people? What kind of psychopaths, as I was talking to that customer service rep for AEP Ohio, what kind of psychopaths work for companies knowing that the companies are causing harm? I mean, these have to be soulless creatures to sell their soul for a paycheck because they don't care what's happening to their fellow human being, fellow men and women. This is ridiculous. It's these type of people that have led to the situation we're in today, with all this chaos, with this out of control government, with corporations thinking they can sabotage our rights and freedoms and liberties. And I mean, I could go on and on and on. It's these type of people, which is why we're dealing with what we're dealing with today. It's these people in these capacities working for these corporations, whether it be a utility company or quote unquote law enforcement or a municipal corporation. It's these people that are destroying everything for us, the people. If you pay attention, it's the politicians that are ignoring their responsibilities. It's the politicians that are fleecing the government funds. It's the politicians and the public servants who are fleecing the trusts that have been set up for we the people. This has to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if more and more people begin to become aware of what's going on. And the sooner that you all can think outside of the box, think about the bigger picture relative to your little life and your paycheck and your ability to keep a roof over your head. See, because you live in fear and work for a company for a paycheck and don't want to do anything to jeopardize that because you want to, keep that source of income. You don't think you're worth anything else or whatever the situation might be. You don't think you're capable of working for a better company or finding a better paying job or starting your own company. Maybe starting your own company and creating something that is more beneficial to society rather than, saying, well, we want government to take care of us. We need handouts. We need this. We need that. Well, that's what's got us into this mess in the first place. When government, when politicians, when public servants, when prosecutors feel like they can do whatever the hell they want to do because there is no accountability, well, that's when we have blatant corruption. And we see it. We see it. Definitely on the TV, for those of you that are watching, which is a majority of you people, because it seems like you watch that thing like it's the damn Bible. But even right here in our communities, in our backyards, and whether it's a municipal corporation or a utility corporation or company or whatever, it doesn't make a difference. Hell, look at what Teflon did to the Ohio River and the people that lived along the Ohio River. All the cancer and other diseases and stuff that they caused from that Teflon plant. There was a settlement paid out a couple of years back because of a class action lawsuit because of the damage that they caused. But, in reality, it's not like DuPont actually really had to, pay or how should I say? It's not like they were really held responsible. Of course, they paid out a settlement, but it was probably a fraction of the money that they made, the profits that they made off that Teflon plant. So they were able to come in, make money hand over fist, destroy the area, cause harm, cause disease and everything else in people along the Ohio River, and then pay out some measly settlement and go on about their business, making more money. That's how it works. That's what these politicians do, whether they're local or state or federal politicians. That's what these politicians are doing. They're creating situations where these corporations can cause harm and get away with it. It's as simple as that. And don't take my word for it. You can look up the information yourself. Look up the DuPont plant, the Teflon plant on the Ohio River. Look up that lawsuit. Look up how that ended and how that transpired. You can look up so many other instances of companies causing harm to people by selling unsafe products or creating unsafe environments or conditions, whether it be for the surrounding people, the population, or even their own employees. So, with that being said, um, the beautiful thing about all of this is, even though these companies, the Stave Company and Casting Solutions, think that they are protected because of what's transpired with the public servants, Zanesville, Ohio, and Muskingum County as well now. See, what they don't realize is now because of the malfeasance of the municipal corporation and the county and the state, now I can create contracts and send them out to the owners of these particular companies. And because of the disturbance, because of the harm that they've caused, which is unlawful, I can now directly contract with these, or create contracts, I should say, with these corporations, the Stave Company and the Casting Solutions, whatever their parent company is, whomever the CEO is of those respective corporations. See, now, just like the contracts that I have with the city, Don Mason and Tony Corey, Doug Mary, and a few others, I think, quite a few others actually. See, just like that whole process, now I can do that same process with these corporations, the Stave Company and Casting Solutions. And so, because I was unable to get remedy, and I mean, just think about it. How easy would it have been for these people to just cooperate and have the business operators mitigate their production noise to an extreme minimum at night? Within a time frame, say from 9 or 10 p.m. to 7 or 8 a.m. No production noise, no audible production noise. They can do production inside. They can do maintenance. They can do other things that are not going to be causing the type of disturbing noise that they cause when they are running full production. So, I mean, just think of how easy that would have been if they would have cooperated and just mitigated their production noise. It could have been solved within probably a month, if that. And I wouldn't have had to worry about any of the harm that is caused to me by these incompetent public servants, traitors, and treasonous pieces of shit, for lack of better terms, which they admit themselves. Go back and listen to part 1 of if they were any more inbred, they'd be a damn sandwich. You can hear in the conversation I had with Sergeant Patnod, he admitted he committed treason. I presented the idea to him that he committed treason, and he accepted it, and he agreed that he committed treason. I now have that on the record, a quote-unquote police officer admitting that he and the corporation that he works for is committing treason against we the people. So, with all that being said, this is further evidence. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you probably thought that, I'm just some kind of whack job, whatever, don't know what I'm talking about, some kind of crazy person just hearing noises or whatever. But when I have gathered all of this evidence over the past couple of years and compiled it in a manner to present it to different, in different capacities, whether it be a lawsuit or what have you, these people completely ignore the responsibility. Now keep in mind, what I just showed you, all that, the emails, the communications, and all of that, this was all prior to this most recent situation in June, July last year. And what I've been talking about most recently with the Court of Common Pleas and the malfeasance there with falsely detaining me until I submitted to their rule, refusing to give me freedom unless I submitted to what they wanted. Kelly Cottrell made that very clear. He needed me to say I understand. He needed me to contract with him so that way he could do whatever he wanted to do. He refused to give me an option. He forced me to be in so much pain and discomfort and so sleep deprived that I could barely see straight. I could barely think straight. And this is what they do. They torture people into submission. That's what they did to me. They tortured me into submission. Kelly Cottrell, Michael T. Hughes, Keith Edwards, the all court personnel, Melanie from probation, the bailiffs, the sheriff's department personnel that was involved with running the jail. They are all co-conspirators. And even though they're able to protect themselves through these nepotistic courts, and the prosecutors not filing charges against their cohorts, they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. So they force the issue. And just like the incompetent dispatcher said, I can't remember if it was Sheets or Hambrick, it was one of the two. You take your pick, it really doesn't matter. But one of them said, this isn't working. Maybe you should try something different. And so I took that advice. And after trying everything else and going through filing lawsuits and trying to address this in the courts and the Public Utility Commission and of Ohio and so forth, I've been forced to take a different route, to choose to do something different, and that's what's led to this development here, where these contracts that I have that they have defaulted on allow me. They've given me permission to create further contracts outlining the malfeasance and outlining the malfeasance of the individuals. And so not only now will the corporations be held liable, but the individuals will be held liable too. So thank you for that recommendation there, Sheets or Hambrick, whichever one it was. I will try something different. And what I'm going to do is create contracts, and my trustee is going to collect on those contracts. And more than likely, I hope for your sake that it doesn't happen, but then again, it may be necessary for you to learn a lesson. My trustee may very well seize all of your assets, may take everything from you, seize your bank accounts, repossess properties to offset the debt that was created by your malfeasance and your desire to bear false witness against me, to lie, to cheat, and to steal, and to be a co-conspirator to that. Because as it stands right now, the Zanesville Police Department still has some of my property that they've stolen from me, and they refuse to give back, all because of this rigmarole and nonsense where they don't want to be responsible. They want to hold me to a higher standard than they hold themselves, even though they admit, like Sergeant Patnod, when they take these positions as public servants, they actually relinquish their rights. They have less rights than everyday average man or woman in our country. But they act as if they have more rights than we do. This is a perversion of the truth. This is why the politicians have created immunity for these people, so that way they can act as criminals but not be held accountable. Now, what kind of standards does that portray? What kind of standards does that set for future generations? I can give you an idea. So I want you all to take these things into consideration. Realize that this didn't start just yesterday, and um, these people have been given ample opportunity to do the right thing. Because of their refusal to do the right thing, because of their inability or incompetence or whatever the situation might be, I really don't care. Because of the reason that they've chose to act the way that they did, because they did what they did, there's consequences for that. And so it's going to come in the way of financial sanctions, assets being seized, bank accounts being frozen, wages being garnished. Um, and who knows, maybe at some point it may lead to criminal charges. The federal government may step in and say, you know what, this is out of control. This shouldn't be. So they may very well step in and do something on their own volition. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But at the very least, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to get some recompense and some remedy for what's been transpired against me. And hey, as much as it sucks to have to deal with you people in public servants within the city and county and the state for that matter, as much as it sucks dealing with you people, you all have made me rich beyond my dreams. And even though right now technically that's just on paper, it's just a simple process to go through before making that a reality and having those assets be liquid. So, yeah, again, I guess, thank you. Thank you for making me realize what I need to do to hold you people accountable, because there is no accountability otherwise. Thank you for doing what you did, because had you not done that, I may not have learned what I've learned. I may not have opened these doors and figured these things out to hold you people accountable. And who knows where I or we as a whole may be at today. I certainly hope that what I'm doing is contributing to the greater good in exposing these types of criminal activity and malfeasance, but the proof's in the pudding and the eating of it too. So the more people that begin to pay attention, other people in the community, like as you saw in the conversations from Facebook and other conversations that I've had myself with people face to face regarding these noise issues, these disturbances. This is a community-wide issue. But what the public servants like to do is isolate individuals. Dare I say individuals? Isolate people people into a situation to where they feel so desperate they might make bad decisions. They might feel like they're being attacked so much that they need to protect themselves and maybe pull a firearm to protect themselves. And when they do that, well, they get murdered. But conveniently, the public servants say, "Oh, well, he was disturbed. He wanted to commit suicide, so that was a suicide by cop." That's what they say. That's how they play that shit. Could they have just killed me? Sure. I'm surprised they didn't. I'm glad that they didn't, though, because they're so stupid and weak that they couldn't finish the job that it's now going to cost them all. And at this point, if anything happens to me, well, holy shit. If anything happens to me, these people are probably going to be put in a jail cell for a very long time. Because right now they have more than enough motive to cause me harm, to attempt to not be held accountable for their actions. So, yeah, they better pray that nothing happens to me. Because if not, or if something does happen to me, then their heads could very well be on a chopping block. They could be spending time in federal prison. So, we'll see. Again, the proof's in the pudding and the eating of it too. But I want you all to consider these things. If you have any concerns, any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any comments, make sure that they're constructive. If not, I'm probably going to call you a fucking idiot because I don't have patience for you people anymore and your nonsense. So if you want to be constructive, by all means, let's be constructive. If you want to be an asshole and you want to be a little shit, then there's a remedy for that too. But at any rate, God bless you all. I want to encourage you all to know the truth and let the truth set you free. Don't let yourself be deceived, and don't just believe what other people say for the sake of believing it. Know the truth. Search out the truth. Seek the truth. Because sometimes information that's given that seems true is only a sliver of truth mixed with a bunch of misinformation and falsehoods. But it's up to us to read between the lines. It's up to us to dissect what is said or what's presented to figure out what's true and what's not. If you're going to go through your whole life believing what you're told and not actually validating or knowing anything, then I feel sorry for you. For those of you who want to know the truth, for those of you that want to be free, God bless you. And I encourage you to do what you can to share with others how they can know the truth and be set free. But again, God bless you all. Y'all keep your heads up, and let's do what we can to turn this shit around, make this place a better place for all of us and for future generations. None of this nonsense about global warming or whatever this bullshit that they claim. The ocean levels haven't risen at all. Go to the beaches. Why would they still be living on the shores of the ocean if the water levels were rising? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. So God bless you all, and stay safe out there.